So if you're running your own law firm, you're going to have slow times. There are times where the work's just not coming in, and you can't panic. We've all been there, and I'm about to tell you how you should handle the slow times in your law practice.
Welcome to the Josh Gerben Show, because law school didn't teach business.
Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of the Josh Gerben Show, the show where we talk about the business of law, because of course in law school, they don't teach business. In today's episode, I want to talk about something that's caused me a lot of anxiety over the years, and that's what to do when things slow up, when work starts to dry up and you're not as busy. If you've been in law practice long enough, you know you're going to have ebbs and flows to the work, especially if you're running your own firm. So how do you handle times when all of a sudden 2-3 weeks go by and the phone's not ringing and you're not bringing in new work and things look like they're drying up? So the very first thing to do is not to panic. I used to panic all the time when this would happen. And I would say, what's going on, right? But you have to remember, if your firm has been open and operational for some time and you've had work coming in the doors, something didn't just happen to make the work stop. You're probably fine. It's just an ebb in the work coming in. So you need to not lose days of time to worry and lose sleep to worry when this starts to happen. You just need to let nature take its course. You need to wait for the work to come back around. And I think the one way to avoid worrying, because it's only natural, like I get it, even today, I mean, we're typically always busy these days, but there's still days that happen where we just don't have a lot of phones ringing and things seem a little slow. You need to focus on something else. Get your mind off of it and start working on things that can actually build long-term value into your firm. So ultimately, I think you should take the slow times in your firm and use them to your advantage. Because when you're busy with legal work, you can't work on your practice. You're just working in it. But if you've got a slow time, now all of a sudden we can take a step back and work on a few things. And here are the priorities, the 3 things that I would work on when you're slow. The first is you should work on your internal systems. Make things more efficient when you're processing work. So look at how you're systematized and start to make adjustments and look at things you can do better. The second is you should work on your website. Can you add pages? Can you change the way certain things look? Can you do some A/B testing on landing pages to see what could convert better? And the third thing is work on your content. Make some videos, write some articles, write some blogs, post on LinkedIn. Just make content. If you've got the time, putting out content is one way to start to get business back in the door. So going through each of these things, the first is working on your systems and processes. And I actually think this might be the best thing you could be doing with any downtime. You need to think about, where can I take something that's a repetitive task and automate it or outsource it, right? Meaning, do you have a paralegal or administrative person in your firm that you could get to help you with a task you're typically doing? And maybe you take 20 or 30 minutes to train them how to do it. Whereas before you would just do it because you didn't want to stop to have to do the training, you just did it yourself. So what can you get off your plate? What systems can you put in place to get things off your plate as you're processing work? Can you develop more templates to use? Template emails that can go out to clients, templates you can use in court filings, or in my case, trademark filings. What can you do to put things in place in your firm so that when the work comes in, you can do the work more efficiently? Take time, write down the top 5 things you wish took you less time, and then work on making them easier to do. The next thing we need to look at is your website, because a lot of folks are going to get leads from their website these days. And if you're not taking time to constantly tinker with it and update it, you're going to start to look old, right? The website's just going to look old and dingy and no one's going to want to hire you. So when you're in some downtime, take a look at it, do an honest assessment. Look at different pages you could update. How could you make them look fresher? How could you make it easier to navigate? How could you put more information on there for clients to find? So look at those things when you have some downtime. And that kind of goes with the third point, which is your content. You can add content to your website, you can write, you can do podcasts, you can do videos. For example, if you don't have the ability to do videos, maybe take some time and learn how to do it, right? Learn how you can post on LinkedIn, learn how you can post on Facebook, learn how to make an ad on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, right? Take some time and learn something new when it comes to digital marketing if you're having a downtime. Because ultimately, if you learn something new and you start doing it, maybe you'll have fewer and fewer of the slower times because you'll take in more and more work as time goes on. So as you can see, for any law firm owner, for anybody that's in charge of running a law firm, there's plenty of things for you to do if your work slows up. And the biggest thing you have to do is if you can't panic, because the minute you start panicking and worrying, now you can't get any of these other things done that could really, really help move your firm forward, right? And it's just so important to focus on those things. And then in 2 or 3 weeks, come back to it and say, hey, where are we at? Did things pick up? If they didn't pick up, okay, now we maybe start looking at adjusting some advertising. We look at if there's, some competitors have come in the market. Have they undercut you on price? What are they, what's going on? Maybe try to diagnose it a little bit more. But if you don't give it a solid 2-3 weeks to see if things start to turn back around, you're just not working with the ebbs and flows of how things just go in business. And the one thing that any business person will tell you is it's not just this. You just don't have these charts that just go up like that, right? You're going to have this type of chart where it's down and up, and then the highs are higher and the lows are not quite as low. And that's always how it's going to go. And you just have to be prepared for that as a business person. And the longer you're in business, I promise you get a little bit more used to it. I'm still not the greatest these days, but I remember, I started in 2008 and 2009, 2010, we'd have a lot of slow times, and I'd wonder, hey, is this going to work? Is this firm going to work? And then by the time we got 6-7 years in, all of a sudden we realized, hey, wait, we've got a good stable of clients. We've got repeat business, referral business, new leads coming in from the website. We've got all these different places generating new work, and it really started to come together to give us fewer and fewer slow times. So the longer you're in business, the longer you're in practice, the fewer slower times you'll have, but they're still going to happen. And even when they happen when you're early on, give it time, don't panic, everything's going to be all right. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next time.